Hi, this is James Ang with Full Capital, and today I've got Ford.Braly here to talk about a new deal in Fort Worth. Ford, welcome to the show.
Hey James, how's it going this morning?
Good. So we got a basketball tournament coming up this weekend, and Ford is like the co-founder, co-creator, co-inspirer of that deal. So we appreciate him coming on today, and look forward to seeing him play a little basketball on Saturday.
I'll take the inspiration credit, but I don't want any operational credit. You guys did all that good stuff. I had nothing to do with all the how
Well,
it turned out. Y'all
we
did great.
We appreciate it. And thanks for jumping on today to talk about this new deal. Maybe give people a little bit of your background and we'll jump into this deal.
Sure. Yeah, name's Ford.Braly. Work at Marks Millichap. Partners with Al Silva. I've been at Marks Millichap for 8.5 years. Al's been here for I think almost 18 years. But we office out of Fort Worth, Texas, and we're the Silva multifamily team. My email down here, Al's email is the same as mine, but al.silva, Silva, and his phone number is the same as mine, but there's a 4 instead of a 5 at the very end. So 817-932-6134. We just focus solely on B and C multifamily and DFW, and we're doing, north of 30 transactions a year, and we're excited to talk about our latest one, the Monterey.
So before we jump into Monterey, what is like your 1 to 2 minute sort of state of the market right now? I mean, you're obviously on a lot of tours with buyers, talking with sellers daily. What sort of like your couple minute state of the market right now?
Sure. Right now, I mean, it's still pretty positive. I think the rate raises have caused a few people to um, hit the brake or just be a little more cautious, but I think it's a small portion of the buyer pool. I mean, maybe 10% of who we're talking to that's was looking at deals and is like, hey, we're taking a step back now, like over the past couple of weeks, but we're still bullish. I mean, there's still really strong population growth. The absorption's still high for new units, and we don't anticipate these rate raises right now affecting pricing. It'll probably affect how quickly the pricing is increasing, but we don't see cap rates going down because of this right now. And I think the feedback that we're getting from investors is that they're just more focused on the details right now, more focused on the business plan and making sure, hey, we're not just going to underwrite rent growth because we read a couple headlines like what's the rent growth for this exact property right now or this exact submarket. So just a little bit more attention to detail as things get a little tighter here over the next few months.
All right. So let's jump into this deal. Monterey, sort of Southwest Fort Worth. Talk about the location and sort of what the benefits of sitting in this little pocket here.
Yeah, oddly enough, this little pocket does not have a huge amount of apartment complexes, but I know it very well. Even though I grew up in Dallas when I was in high school, I worked for a self storage company as like a maintenance team, and the self storage property is 2 blocks away from this. The property here in Monterey, and now I live about 6-7 minutes away from here.
Should we like pull that up? Should we like pull that up? Let me see if I can pull that up. And what was the name of the self storage property?
is a secure locks
Secure
self
lock.
storage.
I did not know that you had self storage in your background here.
Yeah.
Here you go. Let me see. That we went too far there. All right.
Oh, Monterey, Mexico.
Yeah, we went too far. Monterey
Now you're going
apartments.
to some apartments in Mexico.
There you go. Yeah. All right, keep
Is this,
going
is this
while I pull
is
that
this the
up.
e-break of the week?
Yeah. All right, here
So,
we
but
go.
the location really is stellar, and so yeah, it's not the U store, but it's right over here off the 183.
Okay, so here we go. All right, so Monterey Apartments, it's right here. You've got sort of Chisholm Trail Parkway coming down southwest, and then,
Correct.
I mean, in terms of competition, you're saying which sort of properties are close to you, or if not?
Yeah, the estates at Ridgely Hills is a mile and a half away, and that's the closest property.
Okay.
And you back up to really just a very nice single family neighborhood.
Okay.
To the west of you is just really nice, middle class houses, and to the east of you, kind of northeast of you, you really get into this nice neighborhood where there's 1.5 million homes over
All in this
there.
sort of pocket up here,
Yeah,
Ridgely
all
Hills.
that,
Yeah.
and even kind of up in that Ridgely Hills area, and then Ridgely Country Club right there, about 5-6 minutes away. Um, and then really over here as well, there's been a couple new developments there, but you can see there's a Whole Foods right here, just on the other side. If you come down where that West Mountain River Park is,
Right. Okay.
There's a Whole Foods right there they just put in at the water side, and then they did a whole new outdoor development called Clear Fork, which I'd say is just like the 2020 version of Highland Park Village in Fort Worth. I mean, it's extremely high class. It's got a new Neiman's in there, great restaurants, and that's all again. You can see it's 2 blocks down on Vickery or 6 blocks down on Vickery. So 2 huge new developments right over here. And there's a Class A apartment over here called the George, where the 3 bedroom rents for about 7,000 a month right now.
So obviously, look at that rating, 5 stars,
Yeah,
296 reviews. So pretty nice
I'm
spot.
I'm sure the Four Seasons has the same rating. You know, it's one of those.
Yeah, so you're close to, you got TCU here, you've got Chisholm Trail Parkway, and then you've got, Monterey, which is really surrounded by single family homes, and then all the stuff along Chisholm Trail Parkway to really get to
Right.
most of the stuff in Fort Worth. All right.
You just have direct access to tons of employment, tons of jobs, and kind of all the hot areas of Fort Worth.
All right, so this sort of gives it in sort of a snapshot. You got Clear Fork, Keelan Mall, Costco, Academy, all that stuff along Chisholm Trail, and then not too far from all the other employment sort of in downtown Fort Worth.
Right.
So, all right, talk more specifically about this deal, sort of age of the property, number of units, things like that.
Sure. Yeah. So Monterey is 105 total units. The pricing guidance is 14.5 million, which is 138 a door and about 160 a foot. We've got that as a 4.15 cap day one, and we'll go through our pro forma a little bit later, but we've got a 5.75 pro forma cap on here. Some of the big highlights on it, a lot of big bedrooms. It's 81% 2 and 3 bedroom units, 860 square foot on average, and it goes to a very good elementary school. And this is kind of kid city. I think they have over 100 kids on site, and the school bus drops off right in front.
The I noticed this picture up in the right. Is that a townhome unit? Do you know how many of the 105 are townhomes
Um,
roughly? We have a
yeah,
unit
the
mix on here. If it
I
okay, right
know.
here. All right, so
So
like
much fun.
20, almost 30% are townhomes.
Right. So yeah,
Uh,
there's 13, and that picture is one of the big 3 bed townhomes that are 1,200 square feet. There's 13 of those, and then there's 16 of the 2 bed townhomes, and then there's some 3 bed flats and 2 bed 2 bath flats as well.
okay. So what has the seller really done to the property since they bought it in terms of upgrades or capex?
Sure. So one of the big things they did is the property was actually aluminum wiring, and so they went through and I'm butchering the word, but pigtailed or did the Kolar correctly per Fanny standards, and they just finished that at the end of last year. Um, kind of this does play into one of the reasons they're selling, but they bought this right before COVID, a month before COVID, and just never really got to implement their business plan fully. And here we are, 2.5 years later. They've got other stuff that they're working on. It's a partnership. There's 5 people that are working on other things. So, getting the wiring done is a big deal. They've done some of the pavement work, and then obviously they did the interior upgrades. Another big thing that they did was they got rid of the laundry contract, updated the laundry room, put in all new machines, and so now the laundry contract is owner owned or property owned. So or there is no contract, but laundry is property owned.
All right, and then so interior upgrades, they spent about 200,000. They did about 13 that look, I guess, like this top picture. So this
Correct.
is,
Yeah.
black appliances, backsplash. I guess maybe some of the maybe cabinet fronts, maybe on some of
Yeah, they
these.
did. Yeah, they did cabinet fronts, kind of some updated lighting and fixtures. It's the same countertop. It's still sprayed, but yeah, so the backsplash, a little bit nicer appliances, and all the stoves are gas stoves, which is very nice.
Okay. All right. And then so this is classic. So, probably I guess about 30% have been sort of at least partial or full upgrade so far. So you
Right.
still got 70% of the
Yeah.
units to
And I
go.
think the partials kind of end up looking pretty comparable to the classics, really. And so I think the way I look at this is really only about 10% of the units have been upgraded out here.
The 13. Okay. Yeah, because when you walk into the partials, it still looks like this in the kitchen, I guess.
Correct.
Yeah.
I think
Okay.
that is a partial actually with
It's
the
a partial. Oh, it has the flooring
well, yeah,
updated.
because and a lot of them have the flooring. Classics here won't always have carpet; they'll have the flooring, but I think this has got the cabinet pulls, so it's a little bit of a partial.
Okay. All right. Anything else on sort of the overall property or in terms of the sort of mechanical piece of it? I think this one does have an individual HVAC, right?
Yeah, so the physical side of this, it's got the flat mansard roofs that were replaced 7 years ago. And then it's got individual HVACs, individual hot water heaters in every single unit. It's got the gas stoves like we talked about. And then they're individually metered for electricity as well. So they've been operating as all bills paid for as long as we've known. And so the current ownership, another big undertaking they've started is broaching that subject with tenants. And so they're moving from all bills paid over to a RUB system. And we looked at the rents. They started on January 1st, looked at the rents from the last 3 months of 2021 versus the first 3 months of this year. They've already signed about a quarter of the lease, like 27. The rents are identical from their all bills paid rents to these, but then they're paying the water, and then they're also paying their own electric now. And so it's adding a little bit over $100 per lease that they're swapping out before you renovate and raise rents, before anything like that. So you're getting $100 per these, and by the end of this year, you should be fully onto the RUB system.
All right. Yeah, because we looked at, let me jump over. Let's just maybe try to articulate this for people a little bit financially. So the utilities sort of on a T12 basis are about, 189,000. And then about 70,000 of that was electricity, right?
Yeah. So the property on the T12, it breaks down between what was for just property like house lights and outdoor lights, what was vacant units they were working on, and then what was residents, individual meters. And so we have that exact number of 68,000. It's roughly 70 grand. So we deducted that because the tenants will be paying that now. And then there's additional kind of some opportunity for some water savings that Save Water Co. Outlined. And so there's another $30,000 of savings. So you're saving about $100,000 on your utility expense here. And in the meantime, you're increasing your income substantially by billing back for the water. So it's a great opportunity for somebody.
So that's so this is sort of where they're signing rents today, and you think even coming in doing these rehabs, you can probably increase the rents by another $100 approximately across the board here.
Correct.
While still rubbing back for electric and water and those items.
Correct. So okay. It's very good that the current ownership has started this process, because by you close mid-year, basically half the property's already been converted over. So these average effective rents over here on the left are the same for the all bills paid property units and the ones that are rubbing back. So they're getting the same rents. And then we think once you have the entire property on the RUB system, you can go in and start upgrading these units and getting the rents kind of like Ridgely Hills has, or the Foundry has, some of these other properties right in this pocket.
Okay, so this is the deal closest to you, to the subject property, and maybe talk through some examples on like pick a floor plan maybe, and just go through sort of what they're getting versus what we're getting right now.
Sure. I think you start at the top here. The first two units, these big 3-bed and 2-bed units, they're about $100 higher, and that's deceiving because they're actually really more like $200 higher when you're talking about flipping out to the RUBs and then raising the rents. So there's a lot of opportunity there to catch that. And then you can even see their large 2-bed 2-bath flat. Those are renovated units with a little bit nicer, but not anything too crazy. And they're getting anywhere from $100 to $200 on these floor plans.
All right, so like on a 2-bed flat at estates at Ridgely, you're getting $1,300, and then right now we're getting maybe $1,080 at Monterey, and then you're bringing it up to maybe $1,225 once you've done the upgrade. Got it. Okay. So we touched on utilities on the pro forma. I guess let's go through maybe some of the other income items here, and maybe the net rental as well.
Sure. I think the things that jump out to me on this page is the loss to lease, pretty minimal. Vacancy is really good, vacancy is really strong, and then the other rental loss is really strong as well. So that, when I see a T12 broken out like this, I think rents are too low, and so I think that's the opportunity here. Everyone else in the submarket's still really high occupied, but their rents are $100 to $200 higher, and
Right.
so. Um, on the current side, we're getting to about 1.457 of income, and that's on the T2 annualized. And then their expenses really are pretty well in order from our standpoint, except for the utilities. That's the big needle mover on the expense side, but it's a well-run property for right now. But we do think, when you start billing back, you're going to be able to increase your RUB substantially, because they're already collecting 17,000 just from annualized, just from a couple months of swapping out these leases. And then we also really feel that there's opportunities like covered parking, opportunity to increase the laundry income, since there's no washateries around here and you own the laundry. There's opportunities for kind of updating the amenities, things like that. So we think there's a lot of needle movers here at this property, and it's still going to be really well occupied because there's basically no rental competition.
And right now, they're using third-party property management on the deal.
Yes.
Okay, all right. So someone can come in, use either the existing management or maybe new management, and 100 units gives you enough scale to maybe do one in, one out on the payroll here
Right.
for the property. And then
And that's what
what
they're
was
doing. That's what they're doing now. Is
one in, one out? Yeah. Okay. What's the whisper on the deal?
14.5 million.
Okay, 14.5. Okay, so we looked at it. Fannie, Freddie, most deals right now, they're in that 50-55% range on LTV. So if you have a large 1031 and you want to put more equity down, you can definitely still do sort of Fannie, Freddie right now. Most people are going to probably look at it sort of non-recourse bridge. So most deals right now on the non-recourse bridge side, you're 70-75% levered. Usually you might get a little bit lower pricing with the 70%, but it's not really that dramatic of a difference. Usually it really just depends on how much equity you want to put down. And so we're seeing spreads probably around 375 to 4 on most of these deals right now on the bridge side. So since this one is in DFW, it's going to help, and it's above 10 million, so that's going to help as well. Have you guys set a call for offers date yet on this deal?
Yes. First initial call for offers is going to be on March 31st.
Okay, so we've got if you haven't toured the deal, definitely get out, tour the deal next week, set up some time with Ford to get out there. This is super close to your office, Ford. So if anyone calls you last minute, you should be able to get over there, right?
Yeah, no, I should be able to get over there. And no, it really is. I think even if you're nervous, there's only a week left or something here. It really is an area you can get your head around pretty quickly. The median income within a mile is 90,000. It's a stable area. There's a great neighborhood behind it. There's not 40 comps you have to worry about and dig through and worry about over competition. So I do think it's something people can really learn about pretty quickly. It's a nice
And I
area.
mean, we financed this deal, I think at least 2 or 3 times, and
Yeah.
every single person has sort of bought this deal, done well with it, and they've really went on to buy even bigger properties. And so I mean, I think it's a great place to start for a lot of people. So appreciate you coming on and giving us a story on the deal. And if people have any questions, definitely reach out to Ford and set up time to do a tour.
Thanks, James. I look forward to you breaking my ankles tomorrow.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Ford.
All right, thanks.